Lighting is another security issue that you want to keep in mind while you're in your neighborhood. You see how right now the neighborhood is adequately lit. It's not like perfect, but I'm standing under right now what looks like LED lights. I mean, they're super bright versus the standard street light over there. But that's great. So this house took it upon themselves to light this area. This way, they know that they are safe. There's even wires up there. It's very, very great. You have to watch yourself with some of this pavement, but you know, you can't really hate on the pavement here because I find this country, this city, so far that I'm in, pretty beautiful. I mean, nothing is perfect, but you guys got to remember that I was born in New Jersey and I have a home base currently in North Carolina. And when I say New Jersey, right, I was born right on the other side of the river, of the Hudson River. So my backdrop of my city was New York City. We know anytime we go to Hoboken or the river, we're looking at New York City. Whereas on the opposite side, if you go to New York City, they're looking at my city. So a lot of those big time movies that you often saw, we're gonna cross the street just because. One of those, a lot of those big time movies you see where they have the backdrops of, you know, New York City, the Eiffel Tower, the Twin Towers, the One World building, and more. You'll notice that a lot of that film is from New Jersey because they gotta have the backdrop. Gotta have the backdrop of New York City. So I think this will be it for this video. As the sun going down here, I'm starting to lose some clarity. But it looks like a nice little mix on the camera. I'm hoping that it comes out great for you guys. So let's walk to this corner under this light and we'll conclude the video. In this video, we mainly talked about Airbnb, real estate of a family business, and how you can have a sustainable, ethical business to where you and your family can all live. And this advice is not just coming from some guy observing, growing up. See him, he's changing the light. Remember we were talking about lights, right? See? But yeah, this advice isn't just coming from some random guy. My background is in architecture. I'm a trained architect, okay? Not licensed, but professionally trained, okay? I can build and design pretty much most of what you can see. On top of that, my family comes from a farming, more grounded on the earth type people, farmers, teachers, blue collar workers, who one day a seamstress in my family, decided to take it upon herself, of course, with a little convincing to her husband and her sister-in-law, to all together go in on a 3-family home. Buenas.
Hola. Pancho.
You see the perros, the dogs. Yeah, so that was just talking about, remember I was talking about the dogs? These are actually not on leash, which is good though. They're good. They're good that they're nice and they're following her. They're very, very good. They're very, very good. So, continuing what I was saying real quick so I can end this video, is that the seamstress one day decided to convince her husband and the people around her to go in to go in on a 3-family building. It had a full basement. and they mainly use the building's basement as storage. But that building was able to keep them all afloat for, I'd say, what was it, 40 years? Because they bought the building in the 60s. They bought, check this out, the seamstress with their people around her all together bought a 3-story multi-family building in the 60s for $12,000. I'm going to repeat that in case you guys don't understand or hear me. Okay? The seamstress bought a multi-family 3-story building for $12,000. Now you're probably confused, maybe a bit angry. You're probably feeling all kinds of emotions as to how exactly did she and her family, our family, get a house for $12,000. Sometimes it comes down to opportunity. What do I mean by opportunity? Well, let me tell you this. So, it wasn't easy, okay? They bought I think it was a, well-loved house that needed a lot of work. And they bought it right after the riots in the city. I think it was the riots of the 60s. So, what does that mean for the family? That meant that they was able to, capitalize and take advantage of the opportunity that existed in the climate that they were in. Now, all of you watching me right now are in different types of climates. I don't mean weather, I mean situations like we are in a global pandemic with the COVID virus and the onion strain and all these other things out there in the world, some of which we can talk about, some of which we can't. We're going to keep it positive, but I say this to you to take advantage of your situation. If you got to take some assistance from, your family, maybe from your work, maybe you take out some credit cards that you can pay back, preferably within the month or that year, okay? Debt is very fickle. For when my family bought that house, I'm not 100%, but I think they bought it on cash, okay? $12,000 in the 60s was a lot of money. But they was able to get that cash together between 4 people. So what does that mean? That means each person would have approximately, what is that, $3,000 each? But it was 2 couples. So that means each couple had to come out with $6,000 each. There's a train. See the trains? I think I'm going to ride the trains or the buses maybe Thursday or Friday. I'm doing my best to get a nice vibe of the city. And I think you guys are enjoying it. I'm going to hold here and talk. This way we can get a nice time lapse of this for later as well. So, point is, they took advantage of the situation they were in, the opportunity they were in, to maximize what they can. I'm going to give you another example that I saw on the news as well as in many online articles in regard to a couple. They were doing the FIRE method, which is, I think it's the financial independence, retire early method. And what they did, they took advantage of their opportunity. They took advantage by, this sounds a bit insane, but they went to college, they took out loans, and instead of going to college, they put that money on I forget if it was a 3-unit property or a 4-unit property, but they were living in one. And their goal was to essentially do what I said in terms of trying to give your family, whether it's you and your wife, you and your blood relatives, maybe it's you and your friends, Maybe it's you and a stranger that for some reason you two have a unique bond. Whether it's a bond of country, a bond of family, of situation. But I think many of you can take the opportunities given to you and truly do something special.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on